So today you're going to see world-class trading analysis similar to what you might see on some of the best trading floors in the world. How do I know? Because as many of you know, I worked on those trading floors, hence why I bring 20 years of knowledge to the table, which you can take advantage of for free by watching these videos. Now, in this live trading analysis video, which captures in real time how I took almost $2,000 short-term trading the market today in only around 15 minutes, which anyone can learn to do, you will see scalping tips and tricks you will not find anywhere else. Again, I say that confidently because this is not stuff I learned from other YouTube videos, but from time spent directly working with some of the best traders in the world. So if that sounds appealing to you, this is the video for you. Now we're just about to begin with the live trade breakdown, but I just wanted to say that this is my first trading analysis video in a while. As many of you know, I got married recently and then I was in Italy with my missus, so unable to produce as many videos as I would have liked as I wasn't trading. And if I had tried to produce videos, I'm guessing I would not have stayed married for very long. But anyway, I'm back now, had a great first trading session back today, which you're about to see. So without much further ado, let's get into this analysis and get you learning. Right, so in front of you, you have today's market. Obviously you can see looks very exciting, a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. The problem is people are sucked in by all of this. You know, this is all markets moving, they get very excited, they open their charts and they start doing things, and really that's their downfall. Okay, so let's take a step back. Obviously I mentioned I've been in Italy and I'm still recovering from getting back because there was a bit of a disaster, but I'm here now anyway. But the point is I might be a bit rusty and tired, but that doesn't mean I'm going to fall into the traps that I see most people falling into. So actually what I've done is I've just paused the market here for a moment. Okay, so we are just going to focus on what the sentiment has been the last few days. Okay, really important to think about the sentiment. Okay, and that does say sentiment, can't really spell too well, but it does say sentiment. What's the market really been doing before we've come into the day? Let's actually have a look. I like to use market profile. Looks pretty fancy and kind of is, but anyone can learn it. To be honest, all it's telling us is the last kind of 3 to 4 sessions. So 1, 2, 3, and then obviously today where we opened up, the market's been rising, right? But you know, it's been very difficult to find out the reason for that. You know, if we go to the economic calendar from last week, right, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions we're talking about, hasn't really been much there, you know. And even if we look at this week, coming into today, no data, right? And then tomorrow we've got obviously inflation. So really nothing fundamentals wise that's been driving the market. The market's just been drifting, right? So the sentiment, this is the point. That's what happens as a trader. You don't write too much, so your handwriting does tend to deteriorate quite quickly, as you can tell. But as I've written here, sentiment has been drift, positive drift. Okay, and that's really important to consider coming into today, because the data isn't until tomorrow. Is there any reason why that drift wouldn't continue? Probably not, right? And even if we look at other clues to that, so other markets, for example, you can see crude oil here versus the E-mini S&P. The last 2-3 sessions, you can see it quite clearly. The S&P and the crude market have been rising in tandem. So if we look at kind of what crude's been doing today, if I could find it, then that will give us a decent clue as to whether this positive drift is likely to continue or not. Okay, and there you see crude oil up. Okay, very much supported from kind of midnight last night coming into the session. It's obviously quite a bullish market, just kind of the last 24 hours. Don't forget, this is short-term trading, so we're really looking to see what the market's been doing kind of the last really few hours, 1-2 days maximum. So we're obviously seeing there that the crude oil market has been supported. So, you know, that sentiment, the drift, positive drift, really is up, supported by other markets, and crucially, lack of data. Last week and coming into today. Obviously tomorrow will be the inflation number, and you know, the market maybe towards the end of today's session will start to have a look at that. Nothing drastic expected. Forecast to be slightly off on the headline and the core to be positive, same as it was previous period. So nothing drastic in terms of surprises expected. So again, no surprise that the market has just been kind of drifting really. So if we kick the market off here, so I have a positive bias. I'm really looking for somewhere in here to kind of continue that move, you know, pull back a little bit and then continue that move. Okay, so I'm actually going to let this play out a little bit. One thing I did forget to mention, okay, you saw that type of analysis. It was quite discretionary, where I did say we have a positive drift and obviously fundamentals has been lacking, crude oil has been positive. That's not the type of analysis, and just wanted to make this point, you're going to find on any MT4 indicator or all sorts of nonsense I see being spouted on here. It just, trading doesn't work like that. As I said at the start, you know, over the last 20 years working in some of the best institutions, never saw any of this stuff that I see spouted around, like drag an indicator here or there. End of the day, you've got to do some out of the box thinking. How are you going to compete with the best minds in the world if you're just doing all this nonsense I see people doing, and then, you know, drawing some random like sort of supply zone here and demands? It just boggles the mind that people think that stuff works. It doesn't. You've obviously got to do some analysis, and then once you've done that, of course, you can use some of the most best cutting edge tools, and these are all available to you, to really dig down deep and see where's the market likely to retrace to and turn. Okay, it's nothing to do with zones and all of this silliness I see. It's to do with where previous buyers and sellers are going to defend their positions, right? It's so obvious. You can see here we had a lot of buying taking place. So as we come into this area, you know, probably somewhere in this region, kind of 4105, 4106 in the S&P market. So 4105, 4106, somewhere in here, which is actually these buyers here. Sorry, the charts are moving a little bit because obviously this is the live market. We probably will see some buying interest coming in. So this is what we're seeing here. You can see it here. Quite a bit of buying interest. I believe that buyer does actually move slightly lower as the market moves into that area. I'm going to let it just play out a little bit so you can watch the market play rather than me jumping around too much, because this does take a little bit of time to kind of set up. So you can see the market is currently selling off. So obviously I'm not getting involved, right? You can see a lot of selling coming into the market. I'm just trying to look for clues to see what this buyer does here. You can see there's a buyer sitting there. Does he start to move his buying interest? It's bids really, but you know, that's just a technical term for it. His buying interest, does he move it upwards and start to show interest to keep his bids there? And that's really what we do start to see in this area. Do you remember this area here? I mentioned it before, where we've got this 366 and 217. Okay. Now there's a lot going on here, so I'm just going to pause it so as not to overwhelm anyone, because I will highlight this area to you here on the static chart. Okay, it's this area, 366 and 217. Okay, so I'm really looking for the market. Yes, it's selling off currently, but I'm really looking for the market to have a reaction. And really, it's not a reaction. Okay, what it is it's these buyers. What they're doing is they are defending. Okay, so the market's coming into that area and I'm looking for clues. Are the buyers defending? their positions, okay? Or are they letting go of their positions? Think about it. If you got long in this area and the market comes back, if you're a big institutional player with deep pockets, okay, you're not just going to exit willy-nilly like I see a lot of retail guys doing. And that's no offense to anyone in retail. Of course, in retail, your pockets are not going to be as deep. You're not going to have as much money to put into the markets. These guys are really going to try and, you know, defend their turf. Okay, so we want to see, is that actually happening around those levels? So that's what I'm looking for as I was trading the market today. Sorry, pressed the wrong button there on the mouse. So let's see, as the market gets into this area here, this is kind of this area here, do we see the market start to turn around? Do we see these bids start to move up? Okay, and you can see it happening now, 185, 190. You see this person on the bid, he's really starting to follow the market, okay? And that's going to be the theme of today's video. You know, one little clue, if you're looking for a clue, you can see some aggressive buying coming in here. But actually, I want you to watch how this person on the bid just literally keeps his bid there and follows the market up, okay? So I have actually taken a position here now. As you can see, we've gone above. As we started to go above this area, can you see that? I'll just move this down for you. It's a bit easier for you to see. Okay, so we've come in above this area, the 366 and 217, these big buyers here. As you can see, we've started to move up. Sorry, I know the chart's moving a lot, but obviously this was in real time, so I wasn't really thinking too much about the video. So the market was moving above this level. Okay, you can see it quite clearly there. And just watch this person on the bid, just literally going with the market. Okay, so we now started to pop above. And I have added to my initial position. So I'm in the position on my live account here. Now this is, I know there's been a lot going on in this video. It all happened quite quickly. Let's just pause, take a step back and a little bit of a breather. Okay, because I know there's a lot going on, especially if you're new to this. It's going to be a little bit overwhelming, which is normal. When I first started, and I used to watch guys in banks, institutions where I was working, I was completely lost. All right, so don't worry about it. Let's just take a little bit of a breather. All right. So remember what I said, the market is coming back. I'm expecting the market to face some defense from these buyers, right? So can you see, I let the market go against those buyers because I wanted to see, what do these buyers do? Do they let go of those positions, and do we see a big continuation and then obviously trying to test the overnight lows? Or do we see these buyers coming back into the market as the market starts to show some support, right? Support from new buyers that you can see here and the existing buyers here. Okay, so clearly we did see these existing buyers here, most likely, impossible to say for 100% certainty, defend their positions. Okay, so when I saw that happening, you can see I took the first position there as we started to see some of that defense happening. And then number two, I could see this person, someone who's looking to either add, you know, to their position, or a new person coming into the market, just constantly sitting there on the bid. And you're going to see this start to follow up. Okay, watch this around 200, 220 contracts, just follow the market up. Okay, and that gives me confidence to add and then hold to this position. All right, so a little bit advanced today, the type of stuff I'm talking about, but hopefully the fact I've paused the market there and just talked you through that a little bit makes some sense. Okay, so I'm just watching this. Do you see that? 180 is just following the market up very, very closely. All right, there you go. Just keeps following the market up. So I'm going to actually let this play out a little bit because it is very, very interesting actually. And in fact, you're going to see these bids get very, very aggressive because I do actually add another position there. You can see I added another position. You can see these bids are just not going. This buyer is relentless. He's just sitting there and he's just going to keep following the market up. Let's see this. Okay, there you go. Now that same buyer has started to get super aggressive. What it is, he's not being able to get filled, basically. So you can now see super aggressive bids. Now you see it's gone up to 280. Okay. He's not able to get filled, so he's trying to get closer to the market. Okay, and now the market really... What it is, right? If someone like me can see this, think about it. Everyone can see this. The fact that the bids have been following and now more bids are stacking, everyone knows, okay, people want to get aggressive. Someone wants to get aggressive in the market. So you're starting to see a lot of follow through in the marketplace, which you see here. Okay, so we're going to let this continue to play. And in fact, what happens is that this person does not get filled. So he does start to get super aggressive. I started to take some of my position off there, just kind of towards this session highs. But I am holding quite a bit because I'm seeing this. Do you see that? 178, 134. It's really, this person is stacking their bids. They're desperate to get filled. You can see a lot of buying interest in these areas. You know, he started off all the way down here and just been following the market and just relentless, not going anywhere. Even as the market does pull back, even a couple of prices, not going anywhere. Now you can actually see it. It's just really obvious. In fact, I'm going to take it back a little bit. There you go. Don't know if you can see that. Do you see how much stacking there is now? 170, 174, 132. Someone's really desperate to try and get in this marketplace because they're obviously expecting it to have a continuation. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward it now because to be fair, that was really the main kind of point I wanted to make in this video. Was look out for these little clues, these little subtle clues that are there. Okay, they're always there and you're not going to see them, versus what you maybe see on something like an MT4 platform or retail. I really want to kind of highlight to you how you're not able to see this kind of stuff, and this stuff is going on in the background. There's no point denying it. You know, the best thing to do is learn how to spot it, and that's why I do these videos, because I want you to see that, you know, with a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, you can spot these things. Anyone can spot these things. If I can spot them, you know, I'm no one special. Anyone can spot them. So that's something you really should be doing. Okay, so that was lesson 1. Now I'm gonna just literally fly through this. And let me see if I can let me show you some more stacking before we end the video. Okay, so here we go. So this is now 5 minutes on, right? 5 minutes on. Can you see the stacking is just continues on and on and on. That's why I haven't let go of this position for some time. All right, so let me just highlight that to you again. Virtually in the same place that I'd marked earlier. You can see super aggressive stacking, all right, happening, even though the market has moved quite a bit. So I am still holding on to half of my position. Again, it's another point. Nothing on, you know, when you're not looking at this type of information, the things you're looking at on your retail chart, not really going to give you those clues whether should I hold, not hold, get out, you know, not get out. These kind of things, when you're seeing such super aggression, you really want to be holding it as much as possible. All right, so I am going to now basically just fast forward it right to the exit, because you'll see I did hold it for quite a bit actually. Took a little tad off there more and then held it quite a bit because of all the stacking that I was seeing. You can even see it there. Can you see it? 3 levels of stacking. 1, 2, 3. And this is now almost 10-15 minutes into the trade, and you're seeing the same stacking going on. Big clue to try and hold it as much as possible. I did eventually, as it popped much higher, there you go, took the final trade off for a total of plus 1,912.50. okay? And I must admit, I basically took the last trade off close to around plus 2K. Okay, so kind of, you know, there was a few things I was looking at, but generally it was P&L based target, okay? And a lot of people say, you know, don't trade your P&L, and of course that is true. But it's also okay to do sometimes, you know, even professional traders will do that, whether that's a psychological reason, they want to get nice round number in the bank, or whatever the reason is. All professional traders, even myself, will be doing those type of things as long as it matches the risk. Does it make sense from a risk perspective to do that? Kind of does, you know. The risk on this probably wasn't more than maybe $500-600, so, you know, 3 times kind of the risk. I was happy to take it off, right? Probably could have let it play out, but for a variety of reasons decided, including you know, hands up, put my hands up, you know, more of a P&L based reason, that around $2,000 is kind of my statistical average that I tend to take on winning days. So was happy to take that. But as you can see, the stacking did continue. So no reason not to hold the trade. But as I mentioned, the main lessons of today were to watch for subtle behaviors, because they are there, okay? And you won't see these versus what you might see on MT4 or some of your retail platforms. I can't remember the other one. Is it TradingView? I don't even know what half of these are. They're not going to show you this stuff, all right? Okay, so that was a bit more of a technically challenging video than some of my previous videos, but you know, we want to really push ourselves to get better, and that isn't going to happen the easy way. Having said that, anyone can learn to trade like an institutional trader, and in fact the reality is, what choice do you have? To compete in this business, you have to think like the best, right? That is obvious. So to continue to do that, check out this video here where I talk about the type of mindset needed to develop as a professional trader, and it's very different to what you might currently be doing.